Hey y'all, my name is Street Life Terrell, and I want to welcome you to my podcast with my co-host,
Not the hey y'all.
Patrice.
Hey y'all. Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah,
It's been a minute,
it's been a while,
a long while.
because of you. So today I have a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about, and it's about selling digital products online. And I'm, I don't want to admit it, but Patrice put me on game, and I went from being broke to earning a couple dollars every day now. Thank you.
Are you gonna buy me lunch?
No. So today we're going to talk about digital products, what they are, how you can sell them, and how you can go out and do them yourself. So I got some notes here, and I think the first thing, and I'm going to kind of like pass this off to Patrice. What is the digital product?
A digital product is something that you create. It's not a physical product. It's something that you use your computer to create. So you can use Microsoft Word to create it. If you create like a booklet or a pamphlet or something like that, you can use Adobe Illustrator. You can also use web-based design softwares like Canva. There's so many other products or programs that you can use to create something where people can go and download it and then they can print it out themselves.
So I want to add to that. A digital product can also be this podcast. We could sell each episode. I don't know if you guys would buy it, but we could. You can sell books. You can sell. Is there anything else I could throw in there? Templates.
Files, images.
So a really good example is I know Patrice talks about him, the rhinestone mechanic.
Rhinestone mechanic.
He sells templates that are digital downloads. You print it out, then you put it into your Cricut. You cut out the flock. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden you're rhinestoning and feeling great.
Well, some people don't even know what like
Well,
flocking that
okay.
is.
Well, what you know? Um, so now that we kind of explained this a little, Patrice, as a successful businesswoman, how would you say that digital products has changed the way you've done business or increased the revenue that you have coming in?
Well, honestly, with digital products, you can literally make money while you're sleeping.
So
You
passive income.
passive income and lots of passive income. So I kind of I still do a lot of crafting, but I like to make the files to craft. And so with those files, you can place them on Etsy, you can place them on your own personal website or other places, and that will bring you in extra income. Now, once you create one file, you don't have to create that same file again. People will purchase it if it's something that they like. And so you want to stay on top of what's going on in the market. So you want to make sure that you're researching, seeing what people are interested in, and then that should drive the way that you create your digital products.
Okay, so now let's talk about like customers, and I'm going to add a little to this. Why would somebody buy a digital product, or why would you go out and buy a digital product?
So before I started creating most of the products that I use or most of the digital files that I use, I would go on to Create a Fabrica, design bundles, and honestly, I still go onto those websites, especially when I'm in a bind and I need something really, really quickly. You purchase these files, at least the files that I use, you purchase these files because you want to use it to make something. So some of these files come with a commercial license and that sort of thing, meaning you can use the file on items that you're going to sell and make money off of. Now you can't sell the products, you can't sell the not the products, you can't sell the files, but you can sell items using that particular product. So that's why I like to use digital products, because I can go on to Create a Fabrica, Etsy, get a design, place it onto a shirt, place it onto a tumbler, or even use those files to cut with my laser. So that's the reason why I do that. And so for other people who may want to use digital files, like for e-booklets where there's information, you have to purchase those to get the information that you want. And sometimes there's self-help guides on there. So there's so many different digital products that are out there that exist.
So you pretty much talked about everything I was going to say. So let's talk about the next aspect of business. So you're over here. You might have created a template, self help book, something like that. Um, and now you have your product online. You're selling it.
Hmm.
What type of rights are you going to, or could you give with that product?
So you want to make sure that you specify when you're selling your items, your digital products, what's allowed and what's not allowed. So for me, I don't mind. I do allow commercial usage of my designs as far as placing them on shirts and bags and different things like that. I allow that, but you may not want that. So you may want to limit it. This is okay. You can use my image, but only for personal use. Well, you need to specify that. You also need to specify that you do not allow anyone to resell your designs, because guess what? You don't want to be out there competing against yourself. And so you want to make sure that you let people know that they cannot use something that you've created and sell that digitally as well. Another thing we didn't even talk about is like courses. You can make digital courses and download it. And have people download. So if it's something that you teach well, that you are super knowledgeable about, you can create your own course and you can sell that also as a digital download.
Maybe I need to make some courses. So
Oh
guys,
no.
let me know if me and Patrice make some courses. Would you buy them?
Yeah.
All right. So this is probably like the big question that everybody out here is watching that doesn't do digital files. What type of money can you make making digital files? So
you can make a pretty good penny selling digital files. And like I said earlier, like you can make money while you're sleeping. You can make money while you're on your job. If you have another job that you're doing, you can make money. There's so many times where I'm here working with Trill and my phone, if I don't have the ringer off, you'll hear the cha-ching sign of my website because somebody is purchasing something on my website. So you can make a good amount of money selling these files, especially if you have done your research. Now, if you just like to make things, that's fine, or make digital designs. If you just like to make things, that's fine. But what I would implore you to do is, one, maybe find a course where you can learn, if you don't know how, learn how to create these digital files. So you have to do some research. You do have to put in some work beforehand, but learn how to create these digital files so that you can sell them and make money off of them. The worst thing I've experienced is purchasing a digital file and it is all over the place and it's not something that's really usable. So you want to be able to make sure that you're producing content where people will want to come back and check for your files and look for your files, right?
so I'm actually gonna put like a dollar figure on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you just got into making digital files. You're about 3 months in, and you're earning like $10 a day, which $10 a day is nothing crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a year, that's what 3,600, 3,650,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you make $3,650 passively. That's good money.
Mm-hmm.
That's just on $10 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go to 20. If you're talking about, you're making $100 a day, which still isn't really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's $36,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if you're out there, you're marketing, you're pushing it, even with a little bit of money, or just making $10 a day, that's still $3,600 a year you can make.
Mm-hmm. Which I
So
agree, and I think you hit on something else that needs to be said is like marketing. So of course you need to do your research. You need to make sure you know who your customers, like who you're going to be selling these digital files to. Like who's your audience? So you want to know who your audience is, who you're going to be selling these files to. You want to also always research and stay in the know of what's going on within your audience. So like for me with crafting, I know like I kind of go based off of the seasons. So when certain seasons come up, I know, guess what? It's fall, Thanksgiving is coming around, then Christmas is coming. And so I know that I need to make sure that I have some holiday designs for everyone who wants some fresh designs, because people who purchased my designs last year, they already have them. They don't need to purchase them again. But they may want something a little bit different from last year. So you need to know that. And then you need to know how you're going to market your your digital files, your website, whether it's on Etsy, whether you're going to be using social media to let people know, hey, I'm making these designs, or maybe you're going to show finished products with it. Now, as far as like putting a dollar amount to it, I think the most that I've made on one particular day was about $900 in selling digital files solely. So you can make money, and usually I get that type of income when I put out a new product. But I also market the product as I'm putting it out. So as I put it out, I roll it out. I'm on YouTube. I'm showing how the product can be used, I'm showing how to use the product. I'm showing me cutting the product out, showing it being successful so people can feel comfortable. You want people to feel comfortable using your digital files. Like sometimes there's like not a face behind it because of course a lot of people don't like, to be out there. But connect with other people who may also want to use your product, and guess what? You give it to them. I know people like, oh, well, I do this. I don't want to give anybody anything for free. No, if you're just getting in, you're going to have to connect with somebody who maybe you don't have the exposure that they do, but you may want to partner with them and say, hey, I have this file that I make. Can you try it out for me? There's no strings attached. You try it out for me, but you give it to them, okay? And then you let them, you start working on that relationship and let them introduce it.
So I'm gonna just piggyback on that. If you do not have, a social media imprint, you can try something like TikTok because I've seen this girl and that's all she sells is her template. She goes on there, she makes her TikToks, and she gets a lot of sales. And the one thing about TikTok is they're kind of equal opportunity. Like, every video gets an equal chance. It's not like Instagram where you need, hundreds of thousands of followers. Even YouTube, it's hard to get popping. TikTok will give you a chance. Um, so as Patrice said, you can either reach out to people who's popping on social media.
Yeah.
Hey, can you use my product? Or try it out yourself. Go online and do it.
Yeah, and you don't have to show your face. You can make your item, have the camera directed towards what it is that you're making. Once you make it, people see it, they may like it, know your audience, and if it's something that they're going to like, and then you can redirect them to your website or Etsy or wherever you're going to be selling these digital files. But you want to make sure that your designs are easily accessible. So you want to make sure you have a place where they can actually get your design and purchase them. You don't want to get into a trap of where you're selling your designs and then now people will send you a Cash App or Zelle and then now you email it to them. You don't want to get involved in anything like that. Once you know that this is what you want to do, you want to make sure that you have a good setup, whether it's Etsy or your own website. Something like that where people can go, they can re-download if they need to, because that can become too much with having to go back and forth in emails about digital designs. And if you start to grow, then it's just not possible if you don't have a team of people working with you to answer all those questions.
So I'm going to add on to that. I'm going to say there's three main ways to go: Etsy, your own website, and there's another website called Teachers Pay Teachers. That's if you're making teaching products.
Digital downloads worksheets.
So the good thing about Etsy, even though they take some money off the top, is everybody kind of trusts Etsy. Compared to going to some rinky-dink website that you never heard of. You don't want to put your credit card in there, or at least I don't want to. So I would much rather trust Etsy with this than going to some crazy website and buying it off there. Now, if I know it's a trusted website like Rhinestone Mechanic, Craftable Things, I will.
Oh, thanks for the shout
I will go ahead and put in my credit card, but if it's something crazy, I'm not going to do that. So the last thing I think we're going to talk about with digital downloads is just some fees. So I'm only going to speak about the Etsy side of things because I'm going to assume that's where the majority of you guys will go. You don't have to pay for a website. Etsy's free. So it's quick startup. You can share your links. And Etsy now offers if you pay $15, you can get a website through them. So with Etsy now, to put up a listing for 6 months, 20 cents. For every transaction is 25 cents. And then they take a 6.5% off of each purchase. So if you sell something for $1, they're taking about 6.5 cents, then another 25 cents. So we're talking about 31.50 or 31 cents. 32 cents. Let's go 32 cents. Right? So you're going to make 68 cents for something that you sell for $1, right? Did I do the math right?
It's about correct, but when you look at it, you're not like once you put it on there, you don't have to worry about anything else. And so I know Etsy gets a lot of bad rep for their fees, which I'm not a fan of their fees, but also I have a website, so I know that fees are going to be wherever you go. If you have your own website, you're going to have fees because guess what? You're going to be using their credit card services, and there's fees for that. So there's fees you have to pay for your website.
So you need to know whether or not
You're ready to really dive into the maintenance of your own website, or if if you're still at the stages where you can have Etsy do all the back end stuff for you. But you also, when you're putting up like digital files, the one thing that I see people, and Etsy always gets a bad rep, and I see people all the time like crying on YouTube because Etsy shut their shop down, and they don't know why they shut their shop down. You have to know that you cannot use anybody else's intellectual property. Whether it's something that I've done and you're like, oh, well, she's not a big name, that still doesn't matter. If it belongs to somebody else, they can file a claim against you. And if you're using these major corporations, brands, like people do it to Disney all the time, Disney does not play that. Okay, the sororities and fraternities, they don't like it either. They will come after you. And so what happens is that Etsy has to shut the shop down because it's almost like they're allowing someone to sell these products that they shouldn't be selling because it doesn't belong to them, whether you made it or not. If you're using a logo that belongs to somebody else, it does not belong to you, even if you've created it in your software. It's not yours. And so if Etsy is allowing this, then these companies will go after Etsy. So they have to show where they are not going to allow it and they have to shut it down. And so just because you create a digital version of Minnie Mouse and you're like, oh, I hand drew this,
You don't own it, right?
you don't own it. You cannot do that. So just know, like, you want to kind of really, not even kind of, you want to be original. You want to make your own designs. You don't want to use anybody else's designs.
All right, guys. So I hope that we were some type of help. Maybe we steered you into the direction of a new business you can get into. And
It can be very lucrative. Now,
my best day was my best day. Now, there are days where I don't have any flow, or I may have 2 or 3 sales on my site. But in the end, it's worth it. That's why you have to stay fresh. You have to create designs that people are into, trendy designs that people are into. You have to research. And so that's the best thing that I could give you. The best advice is definitely research. But this is money that is out there for anyone to make.
passive income.
Passive income.
All right, guys. So before we end this, if you have something that you think we should talk about on our podcast, go ahead and comment down below. And I'll see you guys next week.
Later, y'all.
Later.